Hey guys, good morning. If you're just hopping in, there is a sign-in sheet. The link is in the chat. So if you're not familiar with Zoom, you just kind of scroll down to the bottom and it should pop up and allow you to choose the chat. If you don't see the chat right away, click on more and the chat should be there. Also, if you're on PC, you can do Alt-H and that will open the chat. So if everyone just wants to sign in on that sheet, and then let me know if you're having any issues getting signed in on there as well. Okay, and then part of the requirements for online CE are to have your camera on. So hopefully everybody, you put your britches on this morning. So we can sign in on the sheet. And then also turn the camera on. Okay, so I'm not seeing anyone hop on and sign in. Are you guys having difficulty? I'm also not seeing anyone with their video on. So if you can turn that on and let me know if there's issues getting signed in on the sheet. Okay, so I am ready to get rolling here. Sherry, it looks like you just jumped on. Anyone who is looking for CE credit, I'll need to have you sign in on the Google Sheet. The link is in the first message there on the group chat. If you can't find chat, scroll down to the bottom and it might be in the More section. All right, and also part of the requirement to get CE credit is your video has to be on. So I have someone that will be kind of watching that while I am doing that. So if, okay, Sherry says she doesn't see the sign-in sheet. Here in the chat, if you scroll up to the top, and I'll post it again. It says, welcome, welcome, please sign in here. I'll drop it in here again as well. Okay. All right. Well, a few people are still signing in and getting signed onto the sheet. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do an introduction. If none of you have been to my classes before, it's hard, when I can't see faces to know. But my name's Whitney Bingham, and I teach social media. I am going to tell you, not to toot my own horn or anything, but just so if you're going to spend the next 3 hours with somebody learning, I would probably want to know that they know what they're talking about. So my background, really, I fell into social media completely by accident. My husband and I ran a local company, and at the time we took it over, our methodology was cold calling. So I had a room full of telemarketers, and every day I would pray they'd show up for work. And then as soon as they did, I wish they hadn't, right? It was a revolving nightmare. And I knew there had to be a better way to get in front of new clients and grow our business. So I tried everything. One year I did over $40,000 in direct mail. So Valpak, Money Mailer, coupon calendars, EDDM, anything that I could get our name in. We never even made our money back on that investment. I also found that I was pretty good when it came to talking to people. And so I stood in every 10 by 10 square foot booth that I could find at trade shows and the fair, all those type of things. And actually, talking to people. And I was able to move the dial a little more that way. What really made a difference for us in our business was social media. And so it's crazy to say, but we went from having people I was firing for not getting 25 sales. Let's see here. Can you guys see the slides? Can someone put in the chat if you are able to see my slides? Because it should just be like a social media best practices slide there. Oh, it's good. Okay, you can see it. So what we ended up doing was moving towards social media. And like I said, totally happened by accident. One day, out of complete desperation, I just posted on my Facebook wall and I said, if anybody out there would like our services, we're going to be in your area. And it was just like people were reaching out to me. So instead of me, calling people on the phone and getting cussed at and hung up on, I was actually creating connections and conversations with people through social media. And being a huge nerd that I am, as soon as that started working, I decided to dive in and really figure out what exactly I could do in order to leverage that, to maximize it. So today, what we're going to cover is how that's going to relate to you as a real estate agent. After a couple of years of great success in that company, I started teaching other people. And one of the groups that had, instant success and were able to leverage this very quickly were real estate agents that I was friends with or that I was familiar with. So today we're going to cover two different platforms. We're going to talk about Facebook and Instagram. And we are going to cover what you should be doing as a real estate agent on these two platforms and what you should avoid doing or should not be doing, which sometimes is more important. I'm sure all of you have agents that you've seen online, and sometimes they post things and you're like, oh my goodness, what are they thinking? Or my favorite is the guy who's sitting on the hood of a Lamborghini, and you're like, hey, you're in my office and you haven't closed a deal in 6 months. Like, who are you trying to kid here to? So we're going to talk about how to not turn into that person, but how to effectively leverage social media. So why does social media need to be a part of your real estate business? Obviously, there are a lot of different ways that you can use social media as an agent. One of the easiest ways is staying in front of your SOI or your sphere of influence. If you think about it, you are popping up in their news feed when they're already in a relaxed state. So as long as you are showing up on social media in a way that's engaging, it's helping you stay top of mind. I'm sure you've had a client from the past, especially those who've been in real estate for a long time, that you see on social media that they've just bought or sold a house with somebody else. Maybe they didn't remember you or your name or something like that. But if you're constantly putting out high quality content, you're popping up and you're staying top of mind for them very softly. I'm sure a lot of you, when you got into real estate, you also didn't call every single person that you've ever met, like your broker probably suggested, and tell them, hey, I'm doing real estate now. So this is another way to softly put that in front of people who may or may not know that you are in real estate. I cover how to do this really in detail in my Facebook class, but just a couple tips for you here. Go into your Facebook personal profile and fill in all of the about information. What I mean by your about information is where you went to school with the years that you went there, where you've worked, every other job that you've had, and the years that you worked there. And whenever I say that, somebody's eyebrow always like shoots up into their hairline and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm absolutely not going to do that. Why would I want that information out there for the whole world to see? The good news is you can put it on Just Me. So as you're adding that information, you'll actually have the ability to make it so it's only visible to you, you and Facebook, of course. So what that means is that Facebook is going to take that information, and behind the scenes, they are going to try to connect you with people who worked at the same places that you worked in the years that you worked there. They're going to try to connect you to people who went to the same school as you at, the same time you were going to school there. So it's really kind of awesome and magical, super creepy if you think about what they're actually doing. But it's going to allow you to connect with those people that you probably didn't call on the phone and say, hey, I'm doing real estate. And you also will have the ability to decide if you want to connect with them. So if the person that was, giving you wedgies and stealing your lunch money sends you a friend request, you can still decline that. But it's going to connect you to those people that you didn't think to call when you got into real estate. So, and always, I think that people who know you or worked with you in the past are going to be more likely to reach out to you, someone they have a meaningful connection with, if they have a real estate question, rather than, Joe Blow who sent them a postcard in the mail. They don't know that person. They don't have a history with them. So that's one thing that I do suggest. You can use social media to reach new potential clients. So a way that this works, and we'll kind of go over this as well, but reaching new potential clients is as easy as leveraging your current clients and getting in front of their friends and family. I really recommend that every time you are doing a closing, you're taking a picture at that closing or of them in front of the house or something like that, then you can post that to your Facebook business page and tag the clients in it. The reason that's effective is you're celebrating those clients, right? Congratulations. I'm so happy that, we were able to get you into this house. But what happens is they're not going to go out, no matter what level of miracle you worked for them, okay? They are not going to go out and sing your praises all over town. When they move into a new house, they're excited for their new house. They're going to be telling people like, thank you so much for, or I can't wait for you to come and see my kitchen, and I can't wait to redo the backyard, and all these different types of things. But when you post that on social media, a picture of a closing, the people who are closest to them are going to take that excitement that they feel about the new house, and then they see this post coming from you, and it's, okay, this is the person who helped them achieve that goal. So another really soft way to get in front of people, it would be great if all your clients were handing out your business card, but since we know they aren't, this is a great way to reach potential clients, their friends and family, just by posting on social. And social media is one of the best places to do direct lead generation. And what I mean by that is you can actually go onto Facebook, and there's a lot of different ways to do this, and pull out new clients. So you can do this organically by using Facebook groups, by drawing people in with the content that you're putting out and posting. You also can run lead generation ads to get people onto your website or target very specific potential buyers for a property. There is no other targeting method out there that is powerful as social media. And let me give you an example of that. I had an agent that wanted to target, just people on the East Bench of Salt Lake, right? That's the clients that everybody in the Valley wants, who are likely to move in the next 3 years. And through social media, we were able to do some testing and targeting, and we were able to generate leads for 15 cents a piece. That's insane. Again, that was, quite a few years ago, but we were able to put down there, we want to target people who live in these zip codes, who make this much money, and who have an interest in luxury automobiles. Crazy, right? That we found those were our keeping up with the Joneses people. So social media allows you to put different layers of targeting in there. That's really, really helpful in getting in front of the exact right people. All right, so your Facebook, we're going to talk Facebook here for a minute, and you have two different types of, I guess, not platforms, but pages. You have your personal profile, which is what I call like your pay to play in Facebook, right? That's where you plug in all your personal information, and Facebook uses that to target you. But then you also have a Facebook business page. So what's the difference, right? People a lot of times will be like, oh my goodness, now I got to post in two different places. So your personal profile is typically what you'll set up first on Facebook. And the way it's set up is you will get more reach by using your personal profile than you typically will on your business page. That's just a given. People are more likely to see a post if you put it on your personal profile. But your personal profile does not come with what is the coolest part of social media, especially Facebook, and that is analytics. So on your business page, you can get analytics on every single post that you put out. You can see how many people viewed that, right? How many people saw your post? Of that, how many people took the action you wanted them to? Right? How many people clicked on it? How many people went to your website, did these different types of things that you're trying to get them to do? And you can figure out what types of posts and content are most effective for your audience. So that's going to be the real big difference. If you are just posting using I call it the spraying and praying method, right? A lot of people are like, I'm just going to put all this crap out here and pray somebody clicks on it. That's great to use your personal profile. But if you want to figure out, okay, what type of post do I make that actually moves the dial? What type of posts are the people who follow me actually interested in? You're going to want to post those to your business page. Your personal profile, because it does get more reach, is important. So I want to kind of walk you through some of the things that if you are doing social media, to help keep you, compliant and help you in this arena. So what should you be doing on your personal profile? One, you want to show up. And I'm not talking about planning out your content or putting in a huge effort to make sure your personal profile is very curated, because your personal profile should just be there because people are going to, when they search for you, right? They get your name as a referral. Maybe they're going to Google you. Your personal profile tends to pop up. And if they go and they're, someone like me who doesn't make phone calls anymore, right? I don't use my phone for that. I text or I'll send you a message or something. But they wanted to check out what, who you are and if they should reach out to you. Even though your business page and your personal profile generally have the same name, they have the same picture for a lot of people, they are going to feel more comfortable reaching out to you on your personal profile than they are on your business page. It's just marketing psychology, right? They would rather reach out to you as a person than they would to your business page. So what that means is you have to show up so that if they find that personal profile and they want to reach out to you, they get the feeling that you're actually going to message them back. Okay. So if it's July and your cover photo is snow-capped mountains and you haven't posted anything in 3 years, how likely are those people to think, oh, this is going to be a great way to reach out and talk to her? So show up. I typically don't post a lot on my personal profile. I'll share things that I find humorous or funny. I will put certain things out there that wouldn't be appropriate on my business page, pictures of my dogs, things like that. But I don't really recommend that you are spending a lot of time curating the content that goes on your personal profile. You do want to make sure you're being real. People can see through that. People want to work with someone, especially in real estate, that they get a good, genuine feeling from. They want to be able to feel like they can sit down with you at lunch and tell you, hey, this is why I want that extra bedroom in the basement, or things like that. They're no longer looking for a stuffy, suit and tie, lawyer looking type real estate agent. They want to see who you are and connect with you in different ways. So be real, be yourself. People can see right through any phony. The next bullet point on here is to let people reach out. Now, a couple years ago, we had this big Facebook security scare, right? Where everyone's like, oh, Facebook is selling all my data. So just to kind of give you a note on that, how that came about is actually people were taking all these quizzes. It's funny, I've been seeing it while we've all been, stuck at home. People are taking these quizzes on Facebook. And the fine print, when you went to take that quiz to tell you what color crayon you were, you authorized Facebook to share your personal information with this third party, the creator of the quiz. The whole reason these people made the quiz was to mine information out. But of course, nobody ever wants to be responsible. Nobody ever read that fine print, so they just, threw their arms up. Facebook then made a lot of changes to security settings, and people jumped right on board to kind of lock down their personal profiles. And if you, are just a normal or an average Facebook user, it's totally fine to have your account set super, super private. But if you are going to be using social media for your business, I really recommend going in and loosening your settings enough that someone can message you. So if you went in and you shut all your securities, you set them to the highest level, people may not be able to message you without being your friend, right? So they would have to send you a friend request and have you accept it before they could even send you a message like, hey, I'm wondering if you could tell me what my home's worth. As an agent, you don't want that. You don't want them, it feels really committal, right? Like they have to be your friend before you can even answer a question. So make sure that on your personal profile, your settings allow people to message you even if they are not your friend, okay? And you can check that by having someone who's not your friend, or, it sounds kind of funny, but you could like remove your spouse or one of your kids as a friend, have them look at it, and then re-add them. And it will just be if they see the message button when they're viewing your personal profile. You want to make sure that that actually works on there. Using your personal profile, if you're going to be posting real estate related content on there, you also want to make sure that you remain compliant. So the rule right now for the Utah Division of Real Estate is that you have to be declaring your brokerage within 1 click. So what that means is if you have personal branding or your page is just your name and you post a home and somebody shares it, that could be outside of 1 click. If you don't have posted right in that, listing or whatever it is you're sharing, they may not be able to see within 1 click what your brokerage is. So if you're going to be posting that on your personal profile, the easiest way to make sure you're always compliant is to check in at your brokerage. So when you go to create a post, it's going to give you the option to put a location in. It's a little, I don't know, upside down teardrop type thing. It's the location. And if you put your brokerage in there, now if someone shares that into a group or shares it onto their personal profile, you're going to be covered because your brokerage is designated right there in that post. On your business page, it's a little different because as long as you have certain elements that we're going to talk about right here in this next section, you're going to be fine. So my recommendation always is to post anything real estate related onto your business page and then share that post onto your personal, and you're going to be covered that way. The division actually has a team of people who look for this. And I'm sure you guys have seen that. It comes out in the newsletter, all the people who have been fined for not following guidelines on social media. So that's how you can remain compliant, make sure that you are not going to be receiving one of those fines, right? Okay, that's all we're really going to talk about your personal page, or your personal profile, sorry. So the big takeaways here, just show up. Just put something on there to show people this is actually a valid way to reach out to me, and make sure people can reach out to you, and make sure if you're posting anything real estate related that you are either sharing it from your business page or designating what your brokerage is, okay? On your business page, you're going to get those analytics like I was telling you about. You're going to be able to track how many people saw this, and of those people, how many cared. So on your business page, I recommend that's where you post all your listings. If you're posting your listings on to your Facebook page, on your business page, you will have numbers that you can actually go back and show your clients. And there's a couple of tricks to get, a listing in front of tens of thousands of people completely organically, well, for free, even if you only have like 200 people following your Facebook page, right? So I really recommend doing that, because if you're ever in a situation where you're competing with another agent on a listing, and you can open up your analytics on Facebook and say, okay, I'm going to put you on the MLS. I'm going to do, all the different things that you already offer as a service. Oh, and by the way, I know how to use social media. So I'm going to put your home in front of tens of thousands of eyes in this area that could be potential buyers. And when you can show them that numbers, that's really powerful, really impactful. And you're not going to get that just posting them straight into groups, and you're not going to get that posting it on your personal profile. You won't get those numbers. So that's the biggest thing with your business page. Next, you want to add value on your business page. A lot of times agents, it's like you get all these sales trainings, and they're telling you, always be closing, ask for the sale, keep in touch with people, all types of things like that. But social media is called social media because it's supposed to be social, right? It's supposed to feel like they're talking to a friend and they're engaging with someone and having a meaningful conversation, even though, there's computer screens or phone screens between us. You can't just post all real estate all the time. You can't be like, oh, here's my latest listing. Look at me. Here's how fabulous I am. Call me for a free cost analysis on your home. Those types of posts don't add value to the people who are probably following you because they just bought a house with you, right? Agents are always thinking, how do I get the next person? When social media is really, really powerful in keeping you in front of people who've already had a good interaction with you, so they remember you. We talked about that kind of with your SOI. So you have to think of content that's going to add value for those people who are following you. And I'm going to go into this in detail later on, but just so you kind of wrap your head around why this would be important. Facebook's algorithm doesn't show every single post you make to every single person who has raised their hand and said, yes, I want to see what they're doing, right? They're following you. Facebook's algorithm goes through and it filters the posts that are most likely to keep each individual person on the platform the longest. So what that means is every time you open up your Facebook, same with every other user, you are being shown an edited set of the posts available to you. Anytime you log in, you're supposed to be served over 15,000 posts. And Facebook knows nobody would scroll through 15,000 posts, and most of them would be spammy. People would have a terrible experience and they would leave. So they take all of that from pages you follow, from your friends and family going on vacation, having babies, that type of stuff. Brands or celebrities, some people follow them, I don't know why. And also from all the people who are literally paying Facebook money to put an ad in front of you. Okay, so what happens is they take the 15,000 plus posts and they edit it down to the 120 that are most likely to keep people on the platform. And when you reverse that, as you're putting out content, you have to get engagement from people in order for them to see your posts at all. So if all you're posting are houses, okay, here's a listing, here's a new one, here's a new one, and all the people who are following you have just bought a house from you, right? They don't care about those new houses. So we need to add something of value. We need to put useful information, content, things like that out there. And we'll go through, a couple of ideas, things that are really great to be posting on your page. So it isn't just a sales reel of here's a house, call me today, let me help you, that type of stuff, okay? On your business page, you also have the ability to analyze. I talked about analytics a little bit, and we are going to cover that even more, but you have the ability to see how many people saw the post, how many people cared about the post. And just imagine if we could get these types of statistics anywhere else. Imagine if every time you sent a newsletter out, you got a report back from the post office that said, okay, this is how many of your newsletters actually were delivered to the mailbox. This is how many of them were opened, meaning that they made it into the house before they hit the recycling bin. And here is how many people actually looked up, or, if you're sending a recipe card or something, this is how many people actually put that on their fridge or used it. If you could get that information back, a report telling you that, we would all be doing direct mail. Because that's powerful information. We know what they like to see. We know what people want. But you don't get that type of information back unless you're doing it online. Every single thing that happens is being tracked. So you can take a post and see, okay, this post reached 100 people, and of those 100 people, 30 of them clicked on it and went to my website, or 30 of them watched my video, anything like that. And that's where the real power in using a business page comes in. On your business page, we also want to make sure that you remain compliant. So on your business page, the way that I recommend doing this is by designating your brokerage in your cover photo, okay? Your cover photo is that big piece of Facebook real estate. It's a picture usually, or you can have it as a video, and you can put your brokerage, the logo even there on that. If it's a video, you want to put it in like the bottom right-hand corner, make sure that it's visible on both mobile and desktop, and then it will just kind of overlay whatever's playing. If it's an image, that's super easy. I'll show you, I use something called Canva, canva.com, and that will actually help you to put a logo over any picture. So it could be a picture of you, it could be a picture of a house, whatever it is, and change that out for the seasons pretty quickly and easily. But that's where I recommend designating your brokerage. There are some brokerages who have requirements as far as like your page naming. So I don't know of any in the Salt Lake Valley, but one that I worked with down south, they require all their agents to put the company name inside the name of their page. So like, for example, if I was a real estate agent, let's say I was at, Black and White Real Estate, my page name, I would prefer it to be Whitney Bingham and then some sort of search term, right? Like your Utah agent or real estate agent extraordinaire. Don't use those ones. Those are pretty lame. Hopefully you're more creative at coming up with a name for your page. But that brokerage requires it would be Whitney Bingham Black and White Real Estate. The reason I don't recommend that, it used to be really easy to change your page name. If you switch companies or something like that, you could go in and edit that. Since there was a lot of fraud going on, Facebook has really cracked down on that. I actually had a mortgage company I work with where the entire branch switched companies, and Facebook made us start a completely new page. I'm talking starting at 0 followers because they could not prove that this name change. I mean, even we submitted paperwork, everything like that. So I don't recommend putting your brokerage name in your page name. I'm sure you're all very happy where you are at and none of you will ever leave. But in the event that you did, you do run that risk of having to start over with a new, a completely new page. So just to reiterate, my suggestion is that you use your name, exactly how it appears on your business cards and all your other marketing. And then I do space, hyphen, space, some sort of search term, right? So real estate agent, or if you have a catchphrase or something like that that you use in your other marketing, I would use that. A lot of times people will be like Utah home specialist, right? So you've got Utah and home in there. Things that people would type into a search if they're looking for a real estate agent. So that's because you will pull up. Facebook's search platform is really, really robust. And you have that possibility of, pulling up in search for people who, maybe their cousin's a real estate agent and the only thing they know is they don't want to use them. So they're going to take to the internet and find somebody else. Okay. So let's talk about content strategies that are going to work for you and give you some ideas of what to post, right? I do recommend that you're not over posting. A lot of times when people see, oh, well, I made this post and it only reached, 1 or 2% of these people, they go, I'm going to put more content out. Well, if people aren't liking, commenting, sharing the content you're putting out, putting more of it out there is not going to help the situation, right? It's actually going to bury you faster and have less and less people seeing you. So if you have less than 1,000 followers on your business page, I recommend posting 3 times per week until you can get that engagement rate up. And a couple of different ways to do that are going to be, doing Facebook Live, doing things that require people to comment or to share. And again, we're not going to go super deep into those, but I just wanted to know, like, if you're only seeing a small percentage of people who are, being reached by your content, the solution is not to put more content out. It's to increase the quality of the content you're putting out so you're getting that engagement back. Along those lines, also, don't over automate. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. I've worked with a lot of agents. I've done a lot of consulting with real estate agents. And I find that social media is one of those things that a lot of times you don't have time for. It's one of the easiest things to take off your plate if you're not actually bringing in money from it. And it's easy to also hand the keys over to someone else and just pay them every month to do it. The problem with a lot of services out there, if you are over automated, meaning they are just going to share links that they're sharing with 800 other agents in your area and you never have to sign in, you're not actually a presence in your own social media, that is bad automation. Okay, again, social media is social. So if you hire a company and they're posting stuff that doesn't even sound like you, if you are I consider myself to be a personality, right? I speak in emojis and moving my hands and 15 exclamation points. And I get somebody who's a professional or technical writer and they're putting out awesome, awesome content, blog posts, things like that, but it sounds nothing like me. The people who are closest to me, who know me are going to see that disconnect right away. And people who are attracted to that on social media, right? They're like, oh, this person is very well spoken and has excellent punctuation. And then they meet me in real life. They're going to be like, wait a second, what happened here? So over automating can really hurt you. Also, if the only content they're ever posting are links, that will hurt you as well. That is viewed as non-native behavior. No person in the history of Facebook has ever only posted links. The only time that you get these links just being jammed in there are when it's an automated posting service. There are smart automations. One that I really think, and we are going to toggle between like Facebook and all these things. So can someone give me a thumbs up if you can see that I'm going to Facebook now? Okay, good. Inside of Facebook, oh, and my I have no control over what pops up here. I always give that as a disclaimer because I've had some interesting things pop up while teaching classes before. And then of course, like today is my birthday, and so I'm gonna have 800 happy birthday messages on here. Okay, so if you are wanting to do some smart automation, Facebook has integrated a scheduling platform for both Facebook and Instagram. There is such a thing as smart automation because no agent in the world has time every single day to go on and create a post and put it in and all those type of things. So if you go to your business page, and again, this is just for business pages and business Instagram accounts, you'll find this publishing tools. All right, so sometimes you'll see mine is under the more category here. But when I go into my publishing tools, I will see what's called the Creator Studio over here under tools. And inside Creator Studio, I have the ability, to show you to schedule out posts for both Facebook and for Instagram. And I'll tell you, I recommend that on certain, like on one day of the week. So for me and my clients, it's Monday. I will go in and I will schedule out all the posts for the week. And the rest of the time that I'm on social, I'm doing the actual important work, which is engaging and commenting and talking with people. So in one sitting, I'll sit down and I will create the content. And then the rest of the week, I know that it's going to go out on schedule, and all I have to do is engage with what's happening. So again, this is the Creator Studio, and it will let you schedule posts for both Facebook and Instagram. So if I go in here, I can hit create a post, and then Swift internet today, geez. All right, I can go in here and put in whatever I want my post to be. Then down here, instead of publish, I have this little arrow and I can schedule it for a future time. And since we're already over here, I want to show you. On your page, you can find the best times of day to post for your followers. So, you know, apart from over automating, another one of those big pet peeves I have is when people tell you like, oh, Tuesdays at 11 is the absolute best time to post on Facebook. It depends on who your audience is, right? So if I have an app that's made for gamers, and by gamers, I mean guys that play like Xbox, and I am told to post Tuesdays at 11, none of those people are ever going to see my post, right? Because they're either sleeping because they stayed up all night in their mom's basement playing Xbox, or they have to go to work because that's an expensive hobby, you know? So it's going to be really important, especially if you have a smaller following, to check your insights and see what days of the week and times of day you should be posting. So you'll go to Insights and then Posts. And this is going to show you the days of the week and the number of your followers who are online on those days. So you can see on here, for me, Wednesday, all right, I do social, not math. So yeah, okay, Wednesday is the day I have the highest number of people who follow me online. Now, as I hover over it, you're going to see a line. This dark line represents the times of day. So for me, I have a fair amount of followers. I have, this is a good one where you can see Saturday at 8 p.m., more of my followers are online than any other time of the day. If you have a smaller page, like, let's see here, let me find. This is a page that we don't actually use. Insights. So if you have a smaller following, this becomes even more important because you're less likely to be seen out already. So this page, see how it only has a few followers, but notice the difference in the peaks and valleys of the times of day that you should be online. Okay. So I also, these virtual classes got to make sure everyone's awake. So if you will just type in the chat, if you have ever seen or used your insights on your business page. So just go ahead and type that in the chat. And that'll be like your participation point. I love it. All right. Okay, so going back to the slides here, we're talking about content strategies that work. So I just showed you a way to do smart automation. Those posts are actually going to sound like you, but you can schedule them because as an agent, I'm sure you've all had a week that got away from you, right? Every week, every time. So making sure that this is done, but not over automated to where it's going to be a detriment to you. Something that really works to kind of draw people in and to give a taste of your personality. I'm sure as an agent at some point you've been a great people person. And so you have some skills in talking to people. Showing a day in the life. So a day in the life would be like, you have a couple of different closings that you're going to or behind the scenes. One that works really well is if you're showing houses to be talking about, okay, today, I have 5 showings that I'm doing with this family. And then I have, a contract that I'm going to go over, just hopping on and talking about that, talking about different things that happen. If you're doing it at the end of the day, oh, I showed this house today and it had such a great floor plan and layout, but my client was really looking for a big backyard and it just didn't have much backyard wise. So I'm going to look at this, this, and this. I sent them some more properties. What this does is it shows people that you're actually active in real estate. The majority of agents out there, people, with real estate licenses are, it's no secret, right? Like 10% of agents do 90% of the business. People want to work with someone who's up to date, who knows what's going on, who's actively working as an agent, because they're going to be more knowledgeable about the current situations and what's available and different things like that. So that's really powerful. Also, it pulls people in. On live video, people like seeing you as a real person and it's not super polished. A day in the life of doesn't have to be a live video. It could be a pre-made video, but it is going to show people like, okay, they actually are working in real estate. They're doing this now, and that you're a real person, that you're, someone they could talk to. So I really love a day in the life, a behind the scenes type thing. The next one is what I call like, I actually live here. There's a lot of people who, they'll have a farm. I've heard that a lot of times in a lot of different training and coaching programs, that you need to have, choose a farm and work that area. Well, anybody can choose any area and claim it as a farm, but the point of that is becoming an expert in an area and being able to give information and to be a resource. So a couple of ways that you could do this. One is city council meetings. So I have a great story of an agent who is down in Spanish Fork. She's a brand new agent, and I was consulting with her, and she didn't even want to really do social media. She's like, oh, my life is so boring. I won't have anything to post, and if I do, nobody's going to want to watch it. A lot of people, think that. But I said, okay, so what makes you different? Why are you different than other agents in the area? And she's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, well, why did you get into this? What made you want to be a real estate agent and go through all that school? And she said, well, it's kind of funny. I am the person that people call and ask these, questions about what's happening in the area because I love going to my city council meetings. And I was like, bingo, there it is right there. Like, you're the lady that goes to the city council meetings. You know what's going on. You know what's happening in the area. And I said, so just start talking about that. How many people go to city council meetings nowadays, right? Not very many at all. Yet everybody wants to know what's going on. And the closest thing they get to what's happening is what the neighbors who did go are posting on Facebook, right? So I said, just become that person, become that source of information for the city that you want to farm. So the next time she went to a city council meeting, and mind you, she had maybe 20 followers on her business page. She stood out in front after the meeting and did a Facebook Live, and her hand was just shaking. You could tell the video's kind of like shaking like this. And I told her, just talk about basically the meeting minutes and what's new, what's coming, what's happening. And just by a total chance of fate, they were getting a new shopping complex, right? Where they'd have a big box store, and then they had all these different pads for retail and for restaurants. And in her video, she's explaining this to people, and she says, so Spanish Fork, what would you like to see? What types of restaurants would you love to see come in here? And the thing went viral. She had people that she didn't even know sharing this into groups. Then people are commenting on it. And I mean, yeah, some of the comments weren't the greatest, like, oh yeah, we need a Chili's. And someone else wrote, you're an idiot, we need an Applebee's. But every single one of those told Facebook this is relevant content, right? Oh, sorry. Apparently I've been muted. I muted it when I coughed. Sorry, guys. So people started seeing her as a resource for information, right? That they could go and ask her, hey, I saw that they're building something over here. Do you know what that is? Or I'm thinking about moving to this area. Do you know if they're going to develop, this, that, and the other? Another way to do, I actually live here, is to talk about new things coming into the neighborhood. And this could be a new restaurant. You could go sit down with the owners or someone who is going to open a restaurant and talk about what type of food it's going to be and things like that. That's cementing you in that area, and it's giving people valuable content that they actually care about, that they're going to watch, they're going to comment on, and it's going to help the next time you do post about a listing, or hey, let me come give you a free cost analysis. More people will see it because they're doing this engagement with you already. So new to the neighborhood, one that is, I don't know, I guess I'm like an old redneck. I'm not that old. I guess I'm old today, but dog parks. I don't get it, right? Because where I live, our dogs just run around, you know, we don't take them to a special park. I don't know why anyone would be excited about a park that is planned to be full of poop, but people go crazy about dog parks opening, or you know, different events that go on and places. So that's one that you really, restaurants, dog parks, renovations. I lived in Ogden before I moved out here to the boonies, and they were constantly redoing stuff downtown. I mean, the whole city looks completely different from when I lived there. And so talking about that, like, hey, this is a project that's coming up, it helps you become more of a fixture and an expert in that area. So that I really recommend. And there's lots of different things that you can do there with, like, I actually live here. One that's great, and this is one that gets leverage times a billion, is upcoming events. Now, right now, all events have been canceled. I just found out they canceled the 4th of July where I live. That's like the biggest thing of the year. So just note, write this in your notes, and maybe next year you can use it. But upcoming events are things that will give you a lot of leverage. So for example, pumpkin patches. If you make a list of all the pumpkin patches in the area, if they're free or if you have to pay to get in, those type of things, people love that, and they'll tag their friends in it. Bonus points if you type it up and put it on your website. And on Facebook, you just put, you know, click here to see all the pumpkin patches, Easter egg hunts, fireworks are going to be the next one coming up. Click here to see a list of all the fireworks in our area. Then you can, you know, send them over to your website. And I get all excited thinking about nerdy tracking pixels, because then you can like track them, who's been to your website, retarget them, that type of stuff. But any lists for upcoming events always do really well. And the last one I want to note here for content strategies that work is Facebook Live. Now, I have a whole section here. We're going to talk about the power of Facebook Live. And I want to note that the reason Facebook Live is so powerful is because Facebook loves Facebook more than Kanye loves Kanye, right? Like, if they make something, they love it and they want to push it out there. And they had Facebook Live before YouTube had YouTube Live. So what that means is they want to encourage more people to see live, and that will encourage people to make more live videos. And they really want to become like this video viewing platform. So anytime you go live, Facebook is going to try to find people to watch your live video. Okay, they're going to send out notifications to the people who are following you if they're online. You've all seen that, right? So-and-so is live now. Now, what happens is anytime someone hops on that live, even if they're only on for a very short time, right? They hop on and then they hop off. They are going to put them in what they call an audience, and what I refer to as like a bucket, okay? This is a bucket of people that hopped onto your video. Even if they hopped on and hopped right back off, Facebook creates this bucket of them. Then what they do is they create a lookalike audience. So a second bucket of people who maybe have never heard of you or anything, but they are similar in some way to someone who hopped on your live video. And then they're going to send these people a notification. So-and-so is live now. So, you know, have you ever seen that where it's like so-and-so is live now and you're like, who the heck is this? That's why. You are similar in some way to someone who hopped on that video. And now Facebook is like, okay, I want to pull you in. So that's the user side of it, right? But from a marketing, from a leveraging that, we want that. We want Facebook to go out and tell people, hey, Sherry or Terry or Jordan, they're making this video. We want to pull you in. We want you to see what they're doing, even if they've never heard of you before. So that's the real power in Facebook Live. Facebook loves it. They give you preferential treatment in the algorithm. They're going to continue to put that in front of more and more people after you've gone live as well. So let's talk about some of the ways to really leverage live video.
First, Facebook did come out and say, and this was last year, so I haven't seen any updates to it. If you do a Facebook Live video every day for 30 days, it resets your position in the algorithm, right? And then that was a Facebook thing, and then I've also heard it from Mari Smith, who's kind of the queen of Facebook, and from Russell Brunson, who's kind of a marketing genius too. But it's going to reset where your page is and ranks in the algorithm. That's a lot of Facebook Lives though. So make sure you have enough to say, because if you just go live every single day with nothing to say, that's not going to help you in the end, right? So how to leverage that power of Facebook Live? For one, you want to stay live for at least 3 minutes. Okay, and here's why. You have to give Facebook some time to work that magic. So if Facebook is going to send out the notifications that you're live, then they're going to wait for people to hop on the video, create an audience, create the lookalike audience, and send out those notifications. That takes a little bit of time. Since you're doing the video, it feels instantaneous, but it's really not. So make sure your video is at least 3 minutes long. You also want to engage with anyone who hops on and asks questions. Now, this can be kind of tricky. I do recommend, if at all possible, you have another person who's filming you for a couple of reasons. One, the camera on the back of your phone is usually higher resolution than the selfie one on the front. Also, like, let's say you're doing a video walkthrough. Nobody wants to feel like they're watching a video of the Blair Witch Project, you walking through a house. Someone who is following you can actually hold it really still. And where it comes to engaging with the people who are asking questions, instead of you trying to remember all your talking points and read the questions and answer them back, if someone else is doing that, they can toss you the questions, right? So let's say I'm live right now. What happens every time I go live, no matter what time of day it is, my niece hops on and she just starts blasting me with all these comments. Hi, Aunt Whitney, what are you doing? What are you wearing? That's a cute shirt. On and on and on and on and on, right? And so what will happen to me is that I'll get totally thrown off. I'll be like, oh, wait, where am I? What am I trying to say here? And a lot of people, especially those who are newer at doing live video, they'll get thrown off as well. Whereas if someone was fielding me questions, right, they were like, oh, Sue asked if that sink had, or if that kitchen had double sinks in it. And I'm doing a video walkthrough, as a real estate agent. What's important about that is that, one, I don't have to repeat the question. A lot of times people will be like, oh yeah, that is funny. And they don't reference to the rest of us watching the video what was said, and we're just kind of lost. That's annoying. But I have someone who's filtering those, and then they're telling me the question so that I can answer it. So I don't have to go, okay, Sue asked if there was, and then, okay, Sue, and answer the question. It's just a little more natural to have someone else throwing those questions to you. So, but you want to make sure you're engaging with people who ask questions, because if you don't, other people are less likely to ask questions. So we have this herd mentality. And if I see someone else asking a question and they're not getting an answer back, I, as a person, am less likely to ask my question for fear of putting it out there and not having it be answered. Kind of just like a mental thing. But if you are answering the questions on your live, other people are going to go, oh, I have a question, and I'm going to type it in here. The power of that is, let's say, again, you're doing a video walkthrough. When you are done going live, you now have this pool of people who asked questions about that house, right? Why are they asking questions? They're interested. Those are a pool of people that you can reach back out to. So let's say that lady who asked about the double sinks and that house didn't have double sinks. After the live, you can be like, hey, Susan, thank you so much for hopping on and watching my video. I'm sorry that house didn't have double sinks, but I know of this one, and this one in the area that do. Would you like to set up a time to go see them? Are you in the market? Have you been pre-approved? You're starting those private conversations based on these people's engagement with your video. And if you don't answer questions, you're not going to have that little fishing pond of potential after the video. A couple other things to make sure you're not being, one of those people. We have people that we wish couldn't go live because it's like we get a video documentary of every aspect of their day. I'm sure you have someone that you're like, oh no, not this again, mute. But make sure you have a strong signal. If you're showing a home, connect to the client's Wi-Fi. That's a big one. I can't tell you how many times, because I teach this. And so when I see agents go live, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to watch this. They go in the basement and boom, the live feed cuts, right? Because they don't have as strong of a cell signal down there. You can't stitch two Facebook Lives together. And if your live feed cuts, you've lost all the engagement, all the audience, all the work that Facebook did in building an audience for you. You've completely lost that. So make sure to have a strong connection and connect to Wi-Fi whenever possible if you're going to be live. Lighting and sound do matter. Now, it's not super important that you go out. You don't need to have, big boom mics and a whole set of lights or whatever, but be aware of the different types of lighting in the area you're shooting. So if I'm doing a walkthrough in a house, I'll walk through that house and close all the blinds and turn on all the lights. The reason for that, our eyes adjust way faster than the Facebook camera is going to be able to adjust. So if you're walking through showing a house and you have the blinds open like you would for an open house, and you turn from a dark hallway into that room, it's like staring at the surface of the sun for all of us who are like watching the video, and it takes a bit for it to adjust. Same thing if you walk into a dark room and flip on a light. First off, nobody wants their kids sleeping in a room that looks like a cave. And as that light bulb heats up behind you, it looks like an angel is descending from heaven, and we're all concerned about what's going on. Like, what is she doing? What is happening there? It's just weird. We don't want to do that. So make sure that you check the lighting where you are. Different lighting will do different things. I mean, here in my office, I have backlights on, even though this is a bright office and the sun's coming in. If I don't have this light on behind me, I have a big shadow on my face. So I, look for that lighting. These are really nice. This is, it's a selfie light. I think it's like $5, but it has 3 different settings, which you can't see because it's really bright in here already. But this helps if I am filming in a place that's dark, just to give me a little bit of light on my face, kind of hide some of the shadows and, I don't know, wrinkles, bags under my eyes. Lighting can do a lot of cool things. So just make sure that you check that and check it on the camera before you go live. So before I ever turn on a Zoom call or anything, I will open a Zoom window and see what's happening with the lighting in here. I didn't get my gardening table out of here, though. I probably should have done that. So, but check those things. Sound is good. And if you're going to be doing a lot of live video, or especially if you're going to be doing a lot of video where you'll have 2 people speaking, I really, really recommend getting a lapel mic. You can see I am on a headset right now talking to you for 2 reasons. One, that makes sure that my voice is really, I get really excited about stuff and I'll get super loud. Having a mic on will actually help to kind of level that out. Plus it's taking out a lot of the background noise. So even if you don't want to buy a lapel mic and you're just going to be you recording, using a headset or one that plugs into your phone helps to even out your sound. If you have 2 people who are going to be talking, I recommend, again, mics, but if you're not going to get mics, make sure you're equal distances away from whatever is picking up your sound. Because what people won't realize, let's say I'm interviewing a guy who's opening a new restaurant, I'm holding the phone. When I'm talking, it sounds normal. When he's talking, you can't hardly hear him, or vice versa, So make sure that you're just checking your sound. If you're going to be outside in a place that has a lot of background noise, again, a mic is going to be really important, because the built-in camera on Facebook Live is seriously just going to try and level out your sound. So if there's a big train going behind you, A, you're not going to be able to be heard, but then the camera in its auto AI is going to try and pick that up. And it's just not a good experience for the user, right? So again, don't invest a ton of money. The lapel mics that I have, it was $60, came with 2 mics, and they Bluetooth right to my phone. So that was easy. And then this light, like I said, was like $5, and they have the great big ones that if you're gonna do a lot of video, you could buy for like $30. So you don't need professional equipment, unless you're making a professional level video, but just to go live, just a couple of little things that will help produce a better video and give a better user experience. Make sure that you remember the replay audience. This is so, so important, and so many people forget this. When you do a Facebook Live video, once you are no longer live, it still lives on your page as a video. And because it was a live video, Facebook is still going to show that to people more than they would if it was just an uploaded native video, right? They want people to see this live. Well, a lot of times people will do weird stuff in the beginning of a live video. Like they forget that there's going to be other people seeing it. 2 of my favorite examples, one, the LuLaRoe ladies. I have a lot of ladies, you know, I'm a leggings fan. So I've had a lot of friends that are LuLaRoe ladies. I'll get the notification they're going live. Well, they go on and they say, okay, guys, I'm going to wait for a few more people to hop on. And then they turn around and they got music going. They're shaking it like nobody's watching, but we are, and it's weird, right? Remember, you can't cut that off in a live video. So you don't want to do weird stuff. I also have the example of a guy, he's an accountant. And he was like going to talk about small business accounting. And I literally went back and found his video after the live was over because I wanted to see what he was teaching. And so he starts recording the video on his phone, and he sets it up on his computer. So it's recording him back to teach this class. And he goes, okay, guys, I'm going to wait for a few more people to hop on live. Well, then he starts picking stuff out of his teeth, opens up his beard and pops the big ol' zit, looks at it, wipes it on his pants, and he's like, all right, we're ready to go. I don't care how good you are at taxes. I'm out of here. Like, gross. And if I see you in the street, I am not shaking that hand. All right? So this is my recommendation for giving yourself a few seconds, but also playing to the people who will be watching it in replay. Because if I see that in replay and there's 30 seconds of nothing, I'm gone, right? I'm off to the next thing. There's so much online, so much content. I don't need to wait 30 seconds to hear what you're going to say. So let's use the example again of doing a walkthrough in a house. I would start my video by saying, hey, thank you so much for hopping on my video. I know that it's no longer live, but if you watch the video through and have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will still be answering questions in the comments. Okay, so I did a couple of things. One, I bought myself some time for Facebook to send out those notifications and to get people on live. Since no one was on my call, no one even heard that. But when people go and watch the replay, that's what they hear. They don't see me sitting there waiting for 30 seconds for someone to hop on live, right? They hear, hey, I know this isn't live anymore, but still leave your questions, right? I'm still adding to my fish pond of prospective people. A lot of times if the video is no longer live, people aren't going to type in their questions. They're not going to do that. So make sure that you're telling them that in the beginning. Most of your views are going to come in the replay. And so make sure the first, 30 seconds of your video isn't boring or you doing something weird like picking your nose, okay? Last, have a point. There are people who are like, okay, I want to do this 30 days of Facebook Live challenge. So every day they're like, oh crap, that crazy Facebook lady said I had to do a live, and they're going to hop on and talk about nothing. All right. I don't recommend writing yourself out a script. because then you're going to be trying to read from a script and people can see that, right? Your eyes will move back and forth. If you get messed up, you'll kind of have this panicked look and try to get back on script. That's why, like, all my classes, these are why the slides are bullet points. I'm telling you way more than there's actually on here. This is the format I recommend for your lives. Maybe 4 or 5 big bullet points, print them out and put them behind your camera. So then if you get lost or someone asks a question, or if you're like me, I can get on a 2-day tangent, you know, I can look up and go, okay, here's the points that I needed to speak to. They're behind the camera. It looks really natural. So that's definitely have a point, but don't write a script because that's hard to watch. All right, some Facebook tools and tips. Post at the optimal times, okay? So I showed you guys how to go in and see what that is. Instagram is going to have the same thing. Inside the Instagram app, you'll have insights that will tell you the days of the week and the times of day. I'll show you that when we get into Instagram. You also use the Facebook scheduler, all right? That, again, you went to publishing tools, Creator Studio, and then create, and it will allow you to create both Facebook posts and Instagram posts. All right, check audience insights. Now this is like the nerd rabbit hole that I absolutely love. But if anybody has access to this, whether or not you've ever run ads or you ever plan to run ads, you get all this information. So facebook.com/ads manager is going to open basically your ads manager platform. And inside of that, up here at the top, you'll have, I call it the hamburger, okay? It's the 3 little lines. And under here, you will have under here, you will have, they changed this on me again. Usually it's in like analyze and reporting. Okay, right here, audience insights. So your screen like this might look a little bit different. I'm actually in a client page here, so okay, sorry, it looks like this had some sort of issue on here. Okay, so once you get into your audience insights, it's going to pop up this screen and it's going to ask you, who do you want to be the audience? Do you want everyone on Facebook or just the people connected to your page? Now, of course, just the people connected to your page is going to give you more in-depth information, but I caution you against doing this because just the people connected to your page may not be a big enough audience that Facebook is going to be able to give you useful information. All right, so what I mean by that is, let's say you have 1,000 followers on your page and you want to filter down to like only the people who follow my page and live in this zip code. Facebook wants everyone to think they have anonymity, right? They can know everything about us, but we can't know everything about each other. And so they'll gray out the information. So for our purposes, for learning and figuring out different types of content to post and things like that, unless you have a huge Facebook page, recommend that you just start with everyone on Facebook and then we filter it down from there, okay? So what's great about this is right now you can see this is giving me everyone in the United States demographics on them. So I can see what are their job titles, relationship status, education levels. I can go in here and I can actually just chunk this down and say, okay, I only want Utah. So you see it did a little bit of a change here. So you can go in and adjust this and find out information about, you know, your niche, the ideal people you want to reach. So I'll give you a couple of examples. A lot of times when I meet with agents, I'm like, okay, so who do you want to work with? and they'll say the same thing, I want to work with everybody. But if you're talking to everyone, you're selling to no one. The riches is in the niches, right? I could go on with like 15 other cliche things about sales and chugging it down. But if you have a niche or a demographic that you want to work with, this tool, completely free tool, is so valuable in knowing exactly the type of content you want to post to reach and connect with and get engagement with that audience. So here's an example I'll show you. In interest, let's say you want to work with veterans. So notice the chart here. When I click on veterans, the difference it gave me in the age groups, right? The highest groupings of people who have an interest in veterans are women over 65. Those are probably your widows. And then men age 25 to 34. Those are probably your active duty or people who are in the military grouping. That already is going to give us a lot of information. Where this gets really cool is if I go here to page likes, it is going to give me the top pages liked by people with these interests. And this is powerful in a couple of different ways. One, if you're doing paid ads, you can actually target the people who follow certain large pages or brands, things like that. So if I wanted to, let's say I was a loan officer and I didn't work for low VA rates or Veterans United Home Loans, I could actually target people who follow those pages and put my own messaging there, if that makes sense. How I like to use this, and let's actually chunk this down a little bit. Let's go to Utah. So here in Utah, the people who have an interest in veterans, 18 and above, you could change the gender here, different things like that. But here are the things that they're interested in. Utah Citizen Soldier, Utah Division of Wildlife Resources, politician, I'm not familiar with this page, but Utah term limits, the Utah Highway Patrol, Big Buddha, Cable 93, Utah Gun Exchange. So what information you can get from here could be something as, where should I spend my marketing dollars? A lot of times people are doing different forms of advertising. If I want to reach this demographic, I am going to advertise, with Big Buddha. I'm going to have him show up at my events. The people who I want to reach are following him. Same thing, if I want to run news ads or radio ads, I should be doing that on Cable 93 versus any of the other channels because the people who have this interest are following this page, okay? Let's try a different interest here. We'll go back to demographics. I left this on Utah, but let's say I have a house that I want to sell and it's right next to hiking trails. So all the people in Utah who have an interest in hiking, and it may be too specific. Let's do, I remember that, it was so weird because there's so many different hiking ones. I think I had to do hiking equipment. Okay, so sometimes, this is a good thing to note though. Sometimes when you put in an interest here, people will have put different interests. It has to be one that Facebook is validating. So like if I want to reach moms, because we all know that's who makes the decision about what house they're going to buy, I can't put mom in here, but I can put motherhood. So sometimes you'll have to kind of test and try different things. So if I am wanting to target people who are interested in hiking in Utah to sell this house, I mean, literally you could go down to a city, a zip code, things like that. But remember, if you get below that 1,000 person audience size, Facebook's just going to gray all your information out. Okay. So I would go onto here and I would look at, okay, Red Butte Garden. They do concerts, they do different things. I might want to target this and put something out that says anyone who tours this home is going to get a free concert ticket, or you know what I mean, put your marketing, whatever types of giveaways or things you're doing, but now do it with a little bit of knowledge of what's actually going to resonate with people. If it was a house that was downtown, the downtown Salt Lake Farmers Market would be a great thing to target with some ads and things like that. So anyway, different ways you can get information here, and different ways that you can actually figure out what your posts should look like. So let's do this motherhood example here. I can go on here and see the things that moms in Utah, and not surprising here, Utah Kids Club, right? That's activities. Remember I told you that posting lists of events are going to be really powerful. That's basically what Utah Kids Club is, the whole thing. Harmon's Grocery Stores. Let's look at this one, like KSL Deals. So let's say I'm starting out and I'm not exactly sure what type of content I should post, what types of things people are going to resonate with. You can always go into one of these pages that your niche group is following, and you can go here into photos. You can also do posts. That will work as well. All right. Oh yeah, no, I want to do photos, because what I want to be able to do is see all of this that they have, and as I hover over them, you'll notice it's going to pop up and tell me the number of likes and the number of comments. So I can go through, oh, this is terrible. Look at this. They posted the same one all these different times. No bueno. But I can go through and see, okay, on this page, what types of content are getting the best reactions? And let's go down and look, you know, before all this craziness happened and people can't leave their house. Okay, here's one right here that has 100 likes and 17 comments. This one only has 11 likes. I mean, part of their problem here is they're multi-posting, like the same thing over and over. This one has 145 and 50. Okay, so now I can click on this and I can see, what did they do? What does the picture look like? What type of text are they putting here? Here's one right here. It's a giveaway. So it's time to thank all of those people and what they're giving away. I wonder if this page does a lot of giveaways. This one here has 126 likes. Okay, last night to see Tarzan. But you can scroll through and see what types of content they are posting that gets the highest amount of engagement. And for over 1 million people, I'm a little surprised how low. So I guess I'm not super familiar with KSL Deals, but I guess you can order stuff from them, and they're doing, they sell something, so they were doing some sort of discount. But you can see I can go into here, into the audience insights, and see different different demographics and the pages that they follow. So let's do this for our next little engagement test before we go to a break, because we are going to take a break. If you will just drop in the chat, give me a group of, let's say, an interest, and we can look at, and I can kind of go over, so maybe a niche that you would want to work with, and I can see, show you guys one on here. So let's see. Crafts. Ooh, crafting is a good one. I like that. So let's go in here, and as I start putting in crafts, it's almost the same as Mom's Utah Kids Club. Couple little changes in here. Let's see what other options there are. So you can go in and do these little, the drop downs, and they will give us different types of, so inside hobbies and activities, you'll see it has art to music, current events, home and garden, pets. So we can drop this down, and I have selected crafts in here. Maybe, well, and we'll leave it with Utah. Let's try another one because that one's really similar to Mom's. Painting, okay. Yeah, just a couple little, I'm sure if I took out the Utah, we would see a bunch of different options here. I mean, I'll just take that out and we'll see. Yeah, so people who have an interest in painting, this looks like it's probably gonna be foreign, stylish Eve, architecture and design, different types of things here. Let's check. Okay. West Jordan highlights. I'm not sure what you would mean by highlights, but I could just go in here and just put in West Jordan, Utah, and then I could choose, like, it's going to give me all the people in West Jordan. I could adjust the age range here to find information. What's kind of cool is, like, all these top ones are, you know, government or official things for West Jordan. The first one that's popping up is Salsalitos Mexican Grill. So I can tell you this, if I wanted my farm to be in West Jordan, I would team up with Salsalitos, Leatherby's, or Penny Ann's Cafe and do giveaways with those. And if you are gonna, you know, buy a gift card from them, asking them, hey, can you let people know that I'm doing this giveaway? And you're going to reach a lot of people that are in that area, if that makes sense. You can also look at what are they posting that people are engaging with. So again, we can go in here, go to photos. And then as I scroll down, I can see they are not getting a ton of engagement. This one with the margaritas so far has done the best, 3. Maybe go back a little bit before they had to sell sanitizer. You guys, this is strange times we are living in here. Let's get back to when they were, you know, doing food. Wow, it's a lot of posts. This is one of those things where I like wish there were 12 of me. I'd call them and offer to help. Okay. Well, this is not a great example either because they're not getting a lot of engagement. You'd want to go through and find, okay, so these type of pictures where it's like one dish and it has a focal point, these typically are going to be where you see a little bit more engagement because people can comment on or like the actual photo. So if I was going to team up with them and do this as a giveaway or something, this is the type of picture, right, of food that I would recommend. Something like this even that looks pretty styled, but it looks delicious and well done. I think that, oh, here's a good one right here. 211 likes and 190 comments. I wonder if that's a giveaway, but that's really unlike any of their other stuff. So let's see. Oh, it's National Margarita Day and we are having a contest. So you can kind of see what types of things work with that audience. And like I said, if their page is big enough, you can actually target the people who are following this page for the purposes of getting in front of the people. So I hope that makes sense. Audience insights is one of those things that I could just fall into for 100 years and spend the whole, like a little nerd rabbit hole that I fall down all the time. Okay, so the last tip here for Facebook tools and tips are to create great visuals. And I told you, I did give you this one before, but Canva, canva.com is what I use to create visuals. During the break, I'll drop a link in the chat where you could sign up to try a free Canva account. But basically, they have all these different layouts, and they have tons for real estate flyers, real estate brochures, all different stuff. But what I usually use are the Facebook posts and Instagram posts, because those are going to be perfectly sized to exactly what you need to show up the best on social media. I do want to tell you, these are great to do text overlays, but be very careful when you overlay text on images for social media. If it is over 20% of the image, you're going to get flagged and you're going to be suppressed, and you will not be able to run that as an ad. So make sure that you keep the text to a minimum. One way to check that is I just Google Facebook grid tool. And this is something that Facebook does. It's their text overlay tool. But you can actually upload an image to this, and it will tell you if you have too much text on it before you go and post it, start getting great leverage, and then you can't boost it or run it as an ad. So it'll tell you if your image is okay, if it's low, medium, or high, and then what to do with that information. So Facebook grid tool is what that is. Okay, and then this is the last little bit here on Facebook. What to avoid on Facebook. You guys, I love Facebook. I've, sold over $1 million worth of goods and services on there. It can become addicting. I have a guy who owns a window cleaning business, and he went through my full course. At the a couple weeks later, he's like, I need a Facebook intervention or I'm going to end up in divorce. Because once you start pulling clients out of there and getting traction, it's really hard to peel yourself away. So step number 1, don't let it take over your life. Like I said, I recommend that you do all of your scheduling out on one day. So for me, that's Monday. And then every other day of the week, you're just giving yourself like 20 minutes to go on, comment back to people who have commented on your stuff, check your messages, your notifications, things like that. And 20 minutes a day is plenty. When I do this for clients, I literally have a timer that is set for 20 minutes, because otherwise I could be like, oh, I should reach out to this person or do this or do that. So make sure you put those boundaries up with yourself as well. The only caveat or, asterisk next to that is going to be, if you're using Facebook for direct lead gen, you will be spending a little bit more time. But set those parameters, put it on your calendar, and then know, like, if you're on Facebook at 7 o'clock when you're supposed to be hanging out with your family, that's a choice you're making for your free Facebook time, and don't call it work. That type of stuff. Don't just post to post. Remember, the spraying and praying method isn't helping anybody. I'm going to put all this crap out here and pray somebody clicks on it. Create good content, schedule it at the right times, and then watch what content is actually getting engagement from people. And don't be discouraged when you're not getting a ton of engagement right out of the gate. You've got to test and find what it is that your audience wants. What are the people who've connected with you? What are they expecting from you? What do they want to see? But don't just post to be like, oh, that little Facebook lady said I got to post 3 times this week, so I'm going to take a picture of my dog and put it on there. Come up with good content. And then do not forget to designate your brokerage. Okay. Remember, if you're doing from your personal profile, the easiest way is to check in at your brokerage with every post about real estate. And if you're doing it on your business page, I recommend putting that on your cover photo as opposed to putting it on in the name or somewhere that might be harder to find. Okay. All right, you guys, we have made it. It is now 10:40. So at 10:55, I will need you guys to on that Google sheet, there'll be another spot that just has like a check-in, and you can just write here or whatever. It timestamps them, and that's what I have to turn in. So we will start back up at 10:55. Feel free to take, a little break, check your email, all those type of things, and I will see you back here at 10:55.
Hey, Whitney, are you there?
Sorry, Sherry. Yes, I am here.
Okay, on the sign-in sheet, what are we just supposed to put our check-in time back?
Or just even right here because it timestamps it.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Oh. My allergies. I'm like, of course today I would have allergies, right?
Right.
Okay, if you are just hopping back on, please make sure you go to the chat and there will be a link in there for you to put your time. You can just write here in the box. And yes, we'll go from there. All right, so now we're going to kind of shift gears and we are going to be talking about Instagram. So let's see. People not able to see the link. Let me know if you can see the link there. And you have to put here on that link. I know it's kind of crazy, but they need it time stamped. Okay, there we go. So all these rules, you know, for doing the online classes. I had to take one for being a CE instructor in Idaho, and they literally randomly, so you're watching this thing, they would have people in the chat randomly asking you questions to make sure you were sitting at your computer and paying attention and seeing the chat. And I was like taking notes and the chat thing would pop up, and I finally told the lady, I'm like, you're distracting me from this class. So I don't know if this is a good setup, but okay, can you see my screen? It should say Instagram overview. I don't, let's see if we can see that. Okay. So Instagram, let me give you just a few little hints and tips. Also, we didn't have a lot of questions in that first section, and I know I want to cover like a ton of information so you get a lot of value out of this. But make sure if you have questions that you drop them in the chat. There is a raise hand option on the chat as well, and then I can unmute you and or you can unmute yourself. And since this is a pretty small class, you know, we don't have 100 people in here asking questions on top of each other. So we should be pretty good that way. So even if you just want to unmute yourself and we can have a quick question and answer, that's the best part of this. So if you don't ask questions, you won't know until the end, and then you'll have to message me on Facebook. It's a mess today. So All right, Instagram. So some people aren't aware, but Facebook owns Instagram. And that's why a lot of the integrations are between Facebook and Instagram. Like you can go onto your Facebook page and you can schedule Instagram posts, or you can go into Facebook and schedule Instagram ads. So just knowing that will help you a lot. Whenever people are getting started in social media, I really caution them against jumping onto every platform all at once. Like, oh, I'm going to do social media, so I need to set up, a Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, like YouTube channel. I need to be doing all of these. That's the quickest way to burn yourself out and not be effective. So I usually tell people start with Facebook, because once you learn those rules, once you learn how to read and judge what's going on, that is going to translate really well into Instagram. I mean, the algorithm is a little different, but the basics of that are going to help you on these other places as well. So Instagram is really great for agents for a couple of reasons. One, I think of Instagram as like Facebook back in 2009, 2010. I could get in front of anybody I wanted to. And now it's really hard to get that organic reach. But Instagram, just by using the right hashtags, can get you in front of the exact right people that you want to be connecting with. So really easy to get in front of people leveraging hashtags, and we're going to talk a lot about that. And it gives you potential to find clients with similar interests. On Facebook, you can go into groups of people with similar interests, and you can build relationships in there. And you can see, you have to spend kind of a lot of time in there getting to know people, and before you're ever going to bring out that you're a real estate agent or things on that nature. Another thing that's kind of hard is on Facebook, you're going to have your personal profile that you're typically joining those types of groups with, but you're putting all of your content onto your business profile. On Instagram, I really recommend that you just have one, that you leave them together, but you have it set up as a business account. You're not going to take as big of a hit in, reach as you do on Facebook with a business account on Instagram. So that's kind of my recommendation there. But Instagram is not for everyone. And I say that, and I always, usually in a class, I can pick out the guide and go, okay, for you, it's not for you. But since, I can't even see everyone here on the screen, I don't know. But I will tell you, Instagram is not for everyone, in the sense that if you can't, be social on social media, if you're still the guy posting, here's my latest listings and over and over and over again on Facebook, Instagram will be really hard for you to get reach and for you to leverage. If your overall account, because on Facebook, right, you're going to be scrolling. If somebody scrolls back on your stuff, they're not just going to see tiles of your posts. On Instagram, if they click over to your account and instantly it just looks like banner ad after banner ad and terrible quality images and too much text, you're going to be dead in the water right out of the gate. Also, Instagram does something called shadow banning. So if you use certain hashtags you shouldn't be using, or you're posting content, or you're getting flagged, your account, unbeknownst to you, will not be searchable to anyone. Meaning, like, if your mom went and looked for your account and you were in the shadow ban box, she's not even going to see it. And you'll keep posting to it. You won't even know that you've been, put in the penalty box, but none of your content will get any reach at all. So that's one thing a lot of people don't know about Instagram. So let's talk about Instagram content and what makes it different from your Facebook content and how to really get the most out of Instagram. The reason that I love Facebook, one is Facebook's been my go-to. That's kind of where I got my start and all of that. But Facebook, with every single post that I make, I can literally drive traffic to anywhere online, right? So I could put a link to my website. I could put a link to my blog. I could put a link to a landing page. And all that someone has to do is click the picture and Facebook will send them wherever that is online. With Instagram, it works a little differently. You get one clickable link. So if you type out a link and you put it in your caption, it's not clickable. Someone would have to highlight, copy and paste it, and nobody has time for that. So really what the process of getting people to take that next step is going to be is they have to see your picture and like your picture so much, they read your caption. And if they read the caption and they like it so much, they're going to click on your profile. If they click on your profile and they like your feed, then they might follow you, or they might click on your link, or it's a much longer process to get someone from Instagram to where I want them to be online, filling out a form or doing those things. So just know that your content is going to be really, really important in order to get through those multiple steps. So what makes great Instagram content? What makes a great post? For starters, it's going to be a focal point in an image. On the best way I can illustrate this to a group of real estate agents is if you go on and take a picture of a listing, you want that listing to look wide. You want let's say it's the kitchen, because I'm kind of a kitchen person, right? You want it to be really a wide shot. You want that kitchen to look as big as possible. You want to include as much as you can in there. And for Instagram, you would do better off to kind of chunk that one large listing picture up into more specific areas, right? So let's say in this kitchen, there is a gas range with a beautiful hood above it. I would take and focus on that as my focal point. And this may not make sense now, but I promise it will when we get into the hashtag part of this. But then I can be very specific on what's in that image, and I can attract people who are more likely to like or engage with that post. So I'm into kitchens. So if you're posting that and you put in there, let's say hashtag gas range, and that's something that I typically follow or I'm seeing a lot of content with, I could see that and I could go, oh yeah, that's a good looking gas range and I would like your photo, even if I'm not following you, right? But by chunking that stuff down, I'm able to target the audience to the content. So let's say in that same big listing picture, there is a vase of beautiful flowers on the counter, and it would just be kind of an accent in the listing photo. But for a Instagram post, I would maybe just focus in on that vase, that flowers, and I would use tags like interior design or interior decor, different things like that. You're going to be able, with a more focused image, to target people who are most likely to engage with it. And when we start talking about hashtags, this is going to make a lot more sense. But chunking down and choosing a focal point in your posts and in your images is very, very impactful on Instagram. Next, you may want to do a theme. So themes can be a lot of different things. It could be just colors. There's such thing as like a rainbow theme. On my Instagram, my theme is basically every other post is a quote. And I did that for a couple of reasons. One, it gives me a lot of white space. Oh, sorry, at the break, my allergies are just killing me. So I apologize for that in advance. Okay, so if you can see, this is my feed. And one, I have a filter that I use over all my images. It kind of is like mutes them out, as you can see, just makes all of them, even though the lighting is different, makes them more, I don't know, they just kind of go together better. I'll show you some other examples of filter use. And then every other one is a quote post on a white background. So that's kind of my theme. That's how I lay out my posts here. Another one that the only thing they are using is just a filter. So this is a custom filter over the top. And where you can really see this is on images that would normally be very dark, right? This picture here has zero exterior light, zero natural light. And then you have, let's say like, I want one close to it, like this big, beautiful bedroom that has tons of natural light. It kind of mutes everything down so they look like they go together, if that makes sense. There's another one where it's like a theater room and it's right next to an exterior, right? This is a bathroom, this is the outside of the house. So we've just applied a custom filter over all these images to kind of make them look like they flow together. And I will tell you, you can do filters in Canva. So I told you Canva was what I use. Oh, and I forgot to put that link in the chat. I will do that. But Canva, you can actually create a custom filter and then just save your filter code and apply it to every image that you create for social. There's rainbow themes where it'll be like 3 pictures are red, then 3 are blue, then 3 are yellow. Some people do a lot with color, different things like that. So just a lot of different options when it comes to creating a theme. And if you're just starting out, do not stress about a custom filter or a theme. If you are just getting going in Instagram, having a nice picture with a focal point and a well thought out caption is going to give you way more leverage than trying to like rack your brain on, okay, do I want to do purple square? You know what I mean? Things like that. So most importantly, make sure that you have some sort of focal point in your image, and your captions or the description of each post needs to be a little bit longer. On Facebook, we would like it to be short. We like to keep it above the read more tab, where someone has to click to read or see more, unless it's something really that's going to draw people in and keep them there. On Instagram, they track everything, right? Both platforms. If you can keep people on your post for longer, reading a long caption, they're actually more likely to see your stuff in the future. So this is what I call my caption formula. And it's a 3 parts. I should put on there, after this will be your hashtags. But essentially, when I'm typing out a caption, I like it to be long form. You have 2,200 characters you can use for Instagram. And I'll start with a hook. Now for me, that sounds different than it probably does for any of you, because I'm the all exclamation points and capitals lady, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, you guys, you will not believe this, right? That's a hook. Holy cow, have you seen this? Check this out, right? I'm hooking people because they're only going to get to see a teeny tiny bit of what I've actually written. Right out of the gate, I want to hit them with something that they're going to go, oh, I got to see what this, I got to see what the rest of this is. So you can see on here, that's what I call the hook. And then in between all of these, I leave a little bit of white space. So if you're scheduling it in the scheduling platform, you just hit enter twice, and it's going to give you basically like a paragraph break. The reason you want that is because Instagram is a very visual platform. And so when it comes to visual, when a person sees a whole bunch of text all crammed together, their mind immediately thinks that's too much for me to read. But if you space it out, our brains can go, okay, I can read these 3 little paragraphs or lines. It's the same reason why numbered or bulleted lists in blogs get way better read-through rates than paragraph format. And again, I'm a huge nerd, so I've tested this. Like, I literally will take the exact same blog post that I wrote out, and then I'll put it in a numbered list. And I get a lot of traffic from Pinterest, so I can track my Pinterest traffic coming in and see that the people who land on that numbered or bulleted blog post are way more likely to actually read through it. So if you can break up your Instagram caption and give it a little bit of white space, people are more likely to go, okay, I can read through this. Whereas, picture yourself as a user. If you open something and it's like this rant that's this big on the page, what do? Ain't nobody got time for that. Yep, see you later, not even gonna try. But if it's short little paragraphs, may have the exact same number of letters in it, but your brain is more likely to read that. So just put that space in there. Next is the meat, right? And sometimes my meat on my captions will be a couple of paragraphs. That's where I'm going to tell the story. That's where I'm going to put all of the juicy details of my caption or what's going on in the picture or what I'm trying to convey. And then at the end, a pitch. Now, it's still social media, so my pitch is not going to be, so hire me to be your real estate agent or let me sell your home today, right? My pitch may be something like, so follow me to see more. Click the link in my bio to get more information. Make sure you stay tuned, right? Not even like asking for clicking or following, but, stay tuned for more crazy episodes in this. That's, yeah, I have some crazy stuff that happens in my life. And so I always tell these stories. If you look on my Instagram, I have the one where I was chased by a chicken, my own chicken, and it ended up in his demise. And I had a mountain lion eat another chicken. And anyway, just crazy stories like that. But I always will leave some sort of pitch because people don't know what to do next, right? What's the most likely thing they're going to do? Scroll on, and the next post they're going to see is someone else. So I want to kind of direct them to that. If you want to see what homes are available, click the link in my bio, take a look, right? Something soft. It's not a sales pitch. It's just, here's the next step type thing, okay? And again, 2,200 characters. This includes your hashtags and your emojis. So let me go back a little bit. After here, I should probably put that on there. After the pitch, I create some more space and then I put in what's called a hashtag block. Hashtags are how you really get in front of people, maybe that you don't necessarily know or that have never heard of you, but by using hashtags, you can get in front of them. So normally what I'll do is I'll have the hook, the meat, the pitch, then I do 5 little stars and I'll have my hashtags, okay? And again, I'm gonna bring this all together and tie it in a bow for you so it all kind of makes sense. So what the heck is a hashtag? Hashtags literally are the lifeblood of Instagram. Hashtags are how Instagram knows what your interests are and what you want to see. If you are a user of Instagram, then you probably have seen, you'll get a notification that says, you liked 6 posts this week with this hashtag, right? They're trying to get people to follow certain hashtags or yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you to follow that hashtag because they sense that you have an interest in it. And if they can continue to show you things that you have interest in, you're going to stay on the platform longer. So hashtags really are the secret sauce to Instagram. They also increase the audience of people who are following certain hashtags, but are not following you. So for instance, one of the reasons that quotes are every other post on my account is that a lot of people follow hashtags about quotes, right? Quotes, hashtag quotes to live by, hashtag quote of the day. Those are all people who probably don't know who Little Whitney from Utah is, but they follow those. And as they start seeing my content, they start seeing the quotes and the things that I'm putting out there, I've increased my audience by people who never would know to go search for me, okay? So that's really important. You can use up to 30 hashtags per post. And when I say that to people, they go, what? Like, holy cow, how would you ever come up with 30 hashtags? And then there are people who are putting like 50 in there and they wonder why it's not working. So anything over 30 is not clickable, searchable, it's not indexed at all. And if you're constantly posting using over 30 hashtags in a post, you will end up in that Instagram penalty box like I was talking about before. So I'm going to show you how to do hashtag blocks, but in the event that you're just, typing one out on the fly or just to get your brain kind of working on, okay, how in the world am I going to come up with 30 hashtags? I want to walk you through what I call the hashtag formula. So for a hashtag formula, you're going to look at the post that you're creating right now, and you want to do 10 hashtags just on the image. Now remember, we don't have this great big kitchen, we cut it down. So we're just doing the gas range or we're just doing the flowers. So I'm gonna look at this picture and let's say it's the flowers. Hashtag floral decor, hashtag flowers, hashtag you know, flowers in vase. And I will show you how to look at the hashtag and see, well, let's do that right now. The best way to look up hashtags, let's go back here, is going to be to put them into Instagram itself. So I will go in and I'll do hashtag flower, and then it will start giving me suggestions. It's also going to tell me how many posts are using that hashtag. You want a mix of high frequency hashtags and low frequency hashtags. Your high frequency hashtags are going to increase the audience, the number of people who are seeing what you're posting. Your low frequency hashtags are probably going to be the ones that are more specific to the people that you're actually going to end up working with. Location typically is how you hone that in. So I'll show you how to do that. So you can see on here, I have flower because I have a picture of a flower. So I can do hashtag flowers, hashtag flowersgram, hashtag flowers with this emoji, flower arrangement, flowers of Instagram. See how just by starting to think of what's in that picture, I can get a lot of hashtags out of this. Now we can also do kitchen. I can put in kitchen and I can see, okay, I could just do kitchen, but if it's a remodeled kitchen, this kitchen remodel has way fewer uses, and that's going to be a better hashtag for me to use. If I go down here, kitchen furniture, that's not really what we're talking about. Kitchen inspo, right? Inspiration, that's something that's great if you're trying to sell a house. Kitchen tips, that wouldn't work, but kitchen trends would. So you can just kind of go through here and you'll be able to pick out the hashtags that are going to best suit what it is that you are posting. So 10 image hashtags, 10 hashtags just about the picture. Next are going to be your location hashtags. Now, of course, this is a class for real estate agents, and so location is something that's really important. Hashtag Utah real estate is one that a lot of agents use. But what drives me crazy about that is, who do you think is following hashtag Utah real estate? Real estate agents. Not the people who are actually going to be buying the house, right? Not the people that you're trying to get in front of. So be careful when you're using your hashtags and think of what are, you know, it sounds super out there, but I'm sure you hear it all the time. Your ideal client avatar. What are hashtags that they are using? What are hashtags that they are following? And that's really going to help you to do that. So, location hashtags, I would do, you know, Utah. I would do down to the city, down to the specific neighborhood. Like where I live, it's called Anderson Ranch. And if you go on and you hashtag Anderson Ranch, a lot of people in this neighborhood are using that. So now I'm getting in front of the people who are actually living here, which is going to be really powerful if I'm trying to sell a house in this neighborhood, right? People who are looking at this neighborhood might have it pop up as something in their suggested area. So on your location, this is a little creepy too, but sometimes people will refer to a certain area and something that you've never even heard of. So a lot of times, if you know someone who's in that area or goes to the high school, right? So you can do hashtag whatever that high school is and find people who are using other hashtags talking about that area. I mean, don't do it every day, but you could go on there and make a list of what people refer to that area as. Okay, so next is going to be 10 audience hashtags. And these are, again, ones that the audience, the person that you want to see this post, hashtags that they are most likely following, okay? So an example of this is if you are posting a first-time home that's kind of a fixer-upper, right? It's what you would call a starter home. It's not necessarily an apartment, obviously, but you may want to use hashtags for your audience hashtags that someone living in an apartment would use, right? Hashtag apartment life. And I have a sheet that you guys can download if you'd like, I'll show you, and that's on there as an example. But again, this hashtag formula here is really just to help you if you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to come up with 30 hashtags about this one picture? This will help you. Think of 10 for the image, 10 for the location, and 10 that are audience specific. And then again, break them up or put them in the comments. I recommend breaking them up. And here's the reason. Instagram, they will come out and they'll say, do this or don't do this, whereas Facebook doesn't really. But Facebook owns Instagram. And I know that on Facebook, if you are the first comment on your post, it's seen as engagement gaming. So there's a lot of people who will do their caption and then they put their hashtags in the comment, in the first comment. But if Facebook views that as engagement gaming, I really strongly believe that Instagram is going to do the same since Facebook owns Instagram. Again, just a crazy Whitneyism, but I'm not willing to take the risks. So there's that. So I recommend that you just break them up with those 5 little stars. Now, only use hashtags that have use and relevance. When you start diving into this, you're going to find there are hashtags out there that get tons of use, and there's some that don't get any use. Hashtag buy this Utah home or buy this Sandy home. I mean, I would guess that that has some use, but if you put that in as a hashtag, but no one else has used it, that also means no one else is looking at it. So using a hashtag that has, you know, very, very few posts is not going to help you at all, unless it's a branded hashtag with your name, you know, like I'll do hashtag Whitney Bingham, or, you know, different clients have different things. Roxbury Juice, hashtag best darn smoothie, right? That's going to get used because you're going to keep using it as a branded hashtag. It doesn't when you first start out, but you know that you're going to use it and over time it will. So just be aware of that. And then make sure they're relevant. If you just start jamming a bunch of high frequency hashtags into a post, or if something's trending, Instagram actually has little bots that look through your picture. And if you're just putting spammy hashtags in there, you'll actually get flagged from a robot as spam, which is sad because I had someone that happened to, and it was like a picture of their family, and their family was flagged as spam because they used a bunch of spammy hashtags. They thought they were clever, but anyway, funny story. So yeah, make sure that the hashtags you're using have use and that they're relevant to what you're posting. Okay. Okay, so you also cannot use special characters in a hashtag. So if you're trying to type something into a hashtag and it has a hyphen, or, you know, let's say you're trying to do a hashtag that's a curse word and you're putting creative punctuation in there so it isn't actually cursing, they don't work. It's not going to be clickable. It's not going to be searchable. It's not being indexed. But you can, however, use emojis. So one of the best ones for real estate is hashtag and then that little house with a tree. Hashtag a puppy, hashtag a cat, the smiley face with heart eyes. All of those type of hashtags will actually index because people use them with the emojis. So I want to go into and show you how to not spend your whole life. Let's see, is this my drive? Doing this. And like I said, if you go to my website, whitneybingham.com, there's a resource page and you can download this and you can totally use it. I don't, it's kind of like for a guideline, and I have some of these in here that will be good for real estate agents. So what I do, I just showed you, you know, hashtags can be super, super powerful, but you have to have the right ones. And so what I do is go through and I set up what I call hashtag blocks. So these are blocks of hashtags that now that I have this, I will copy and paste them into my posts. So how to come up with these in the first place is you want to choose some keywords, right? Choose 5 or less that you're going to probably post about quite a bit. And I recommend starting this in a Google document. If you download this, it's going to open a Google Doc and name it hashtags for you. Just make sure you copy it, and then you can add whatever categories you want. But I open a Google document because it is the same on my computer as it is on my phone. I have the Google Sheets app on my phone. And so anytime I make a change on my phone, it reflects here and vice versa. Because most of the time I do all my social scheduling on desktop. It's just way easier. But sometimes I'm going to post on the fly and I want to be able to access my hashtag blocks. So that's the reasoning there. So what I did to find some of these, I went in and I put the keywords, and I always start my search on Instagram. The reason for that is because that's the best source of information for what's actually going on there. So let's go back to the picture of, you know, the flowers in the kitchen. And let's say I want to do some posts about floral decor. So as I'm typing here, you'll notice that the options available to me that Instagram is suggesting are changing. And they are also in varying post categories. So I'm going to go and do floral decor. And if I'm building out those hashtag sheets, I can do floral decor, floral decorations, you know, all these different options. But typically what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll choose this first one, and Instagram is going to deliver me a search result for that hashtag. Okay, so see the hashtag is here. On some of them, not on all of them, you're going to get related hashtags. You literally can copy and paste this into your hashtag sheet if they are relevant. Since wedding florals is definitely not what we're after, I would, you know, edit this down. Floral arrangement, flowers decoration. Let's say the house this kitchen that we're talking about is what we would call French country. A French country kitchen, okay? So I can go in and type that in and see there are only 5,193 posts with this hashtag. But I can click into here, and now it's going to give me all these related hashtags that probably are more relevant, right? Vintage, antique, Joanna Gaines style. This is a huge one. This has a ton of use. Southern decor, country cottage, all these different types of things, okay? So you can see clicking into the hashtag, you're gonna get some of these related hashtags. You're also going to get, and on your phone, this will be like a swipe toggle type thing, but Instagram will give you top posts for posts using this hashtag, and they will give you most recent. These are really powerful tools in two different ways. One, in what we're talking about, the top post, that's going to help us to find the top hashtags that are used with the hashtag that I'm looking at here. So we'll get back to that. But most recent, this is really powerful because after you post using one of these hashtags, I recommend that you go in and engage with some of the most recent posts using that hashtag. Because when you like a post, this person just got a notification that I liked their post. And if they've never heard of me or seen me and they're online, they may come and actually look at the post that I just did. Now I'm increasing that audience. Even if they don't go in and look at that hashtag, I am relating to them by using an interest that they have just through hashtags. So really cool that way. But to fill out our hashtag sheet, I will click on this top post and look right here. I now have a block of hashtags that are related. Okay, so this one right here, house to home. I think maybe this W is a typo, but house to home is a great hashtag for a real estate agent to use, right? You're looking for those people who are turning their house into a home. This is a remodeled kitchen. It is French country style. So I would take these and paste them into this hashtag sheet and fill it out. Now, you'll notice here I have two different like sections. These are sections based on their use, right? So these right here are keywords and their hashtags. These are all hashtags that basically people who have an interest in apartments would like. These down here are audience hashtag blocks. So obviously I, you know, market to bloggers and coaches or female empowerment or people who are into Rachel Hollis, right? So these are hashtags that don't necessarily pertain to what is in the image. It's more of just the audience I'm trying to get in front of. So if I want to reach people who are bloggers and coaches, I will use these hashtags because these are the hashtags they are using, right? That's just like the next level. Start here with your keywords, and then you can go into some of your audience ones, okay? I will show you realtors. If I am marketing to realtors for a class or a course or anything like that, these aren't necessarily hashtags that have to pertain to me. These are hashtags that realtors are using. Realtoring. You know, some of them I'm like, what in the world is this? But you'll notice on here I have like KW agents, realtors of Instagram. I'm not a realtor, but people who are using that hashtag. And so when I use it, it's going to show up in their feed. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Anybody have any questions or anything? Make sure you drop them in the chat or do the raise hand, or I mean, you can even unmute yourself here, but. All right, so that's kind of the overview on hashtags. Make sure that your posts that you're posting in the actual feed have a focal point, they have a long description, and that you're using up to 30 hashtags. I normally put 25 to 28 in there in case someone comments a hashtag. I want that to be clickable, and I want my post to be searchable by that hashtag as well. So I typically will put 25 to 28 in a post, in each post. Okay, so another powerful tool on Instagram are Instagram stories. And the reason that this is so powerful and why people love Instagram stories is because it's like micro content, right? It's short, it's quick, and you will get people who abuse that, right? Have you ever opened up a story and there's 15 little tick marks at the top and I'm like, nope, nobody has time for that. But what the difference in as far as content consumption with stories versus just your normal Instagram feed is that people know that story content disappears. So for me as a content creator, I will post stuff in my stories that I wouldn't necessarily want living on my feed forever, because I know that after 24 hours, it's gone, right? It's not there forever. And people consume that content for the same reason. There are people who can look at your post and be like, oh, I want to read that. I'll come back to it later. No one ever does. But in stories, they know that if they don't look at that right now, if they don't look at it today, tomorrow it will not exist. So it preys on that FOMO that people have. And I'll tell you the reason that you have Instagram stories and Facebook stories and Messenger stories and all these things is because Snapchat got popular. Facebook tried to buy Snapchat. Snapchat did not want to sell, and so Facebook said, we will burn you to the ground. So that's why you have Instagram stories. But they're very popular. You have some people that only look at stories. They don't actually scroll through the feed. Most people do a mix of both. And you have some people that only look at the feed. They don't go through stories. But I want to talk to you about stories because they are powerful, and especially in getting people to actually watch them and not scroll right past them. So that's why people love them. Now, how do you post an Instagram story? Oh my goodness, do you know what? I have never tried my phone screen share on a screen share. This is getting a little, meta even for me. So let's see here if it will work. It's opening. Okay. Now, can you see my Instagram screen? Yes? Oh, cool. Exciting. All right. So now when we're doing a story, you're going to tap right up here. This is my picture and it says your story. You're just going to tap that and it will allow you, if you don't have anything in here, it will actually allow you to hit that again and add something to your story. So in your story, you can use, let's try to get this around. Oh, you never want it, the bad angle. Oh, it's going to tell me what Pokemon I am. That's not what we want either. So in a story, what you want or what you can do is you can either take a video or a picture, right, like this. So we're going to use this as the picture. Or you can import other content. So before I took this picture down here where now it says your stories, it had a little square that would allow me to pull content off my phone to put in here. So you can, create a different image or do something with a little text, a little video. GIFs are great. I really like using GIFs as an Instagram story, which is kind of confusing because we're going to add GIFs to this story, a boomerang, not a GIF, a boomerang or anything like that. So when you're posting to stories, there's a lot of additional things that you can add that are going to help. And if you look here at this version of my screen, this little sticker guy is where you can add some of these elements. So when you click the sticker, it's going to pop up. And obviously at the location is important. If you want to add a location, you will show up in the story for that location. So an example of this is, let's say I was at a concert. Oh man, I miss concerts. And I was at USANA Amphitheater. I could put this sticker on my story and then I can shrink it down. I can tap it to change colors to the point where no one would even know what it says. But because it's in here, I actually will show up in the story for that location. Also ironic because I am definitely not at USANA right now, but I also doubt there's going to be a story for USANA right now. So your location is one that's going to help you to get in front of more people than know you or anything like that. If I go back up here, you'll notice that there's hashtag. I always recommend putting a hashtag in here so that it will show for other people. So notice that as I start typing, it's going to give me these suggestions down here on the bottom. I love teaching Spanish. I love teaching science. I love teaching reading. I want to choose something. I would put, I love teaching social media, but not very many people are going to be looking for that. So it's not going to do as much benefit for me. So I'll put, I was going to put from home, but I don't really love it. I wish we were all in a room together because I'm way more fun in person. All right. This is hard. This has been such a transition for me. I feel like I'm on this island and I need people in my life. All right. So you can put your hashtag in here. Like you can see, I can change the coloring of it just by tapping on it. So it depends on if I want it to stand out or if I just want it to melt into the background. Other things that you can add are like a GIF, where it says GIF here. Those are the little animated things that people you see on them all the time, that's kind of where you get those. If you have a custom GIF, like one of yourself, that you wanted to add as a sticker over this, you can actually save it on your roll, and then you copy and paste it in, and I could put a little Whitney on there doing a dance. I'm gonna do that. It's my birthday. I can make a GIF if I want to. Get it. All right, some other elements that are important and will actually increase your engagement for your Instagram stories are some of these down here. So this little smiley face slider guy allows you to ask a question. And in order to get engagement, all people have to do is slide his little smiley face up or down. So it's super easy for people to do that. Things that I've seen work really well for real estate are, how gorgeous is this front door? How much would you love sitting on this back porch? Things like that, and have a picture here. And people just have to slide it. It's great in a couple of ways. One, because just by sliding their finger on that, you're getting engagement and telling Instagram, like, you know, hey, this is valid, important content to this person. But also, Instagram keeps track of all these answers. And so I hope that I can show you this on here. No, I don't want that. I want to go into one that I did just a little bit ago. Okay, so see right here, it doesn't allow me, but this is a poll that I did. So it said, should I paint my front door the same color as these other elements? Like I painted that stool or whatever. And it shows you that 79% answered yes, but 21% said it was too dark. And I could, when this was actually live in my stories, tap on this and I could see who answered what. So can you see how that would be super powerful if you were asking a question for real estate, such as, you know, hey, what's the number one thing keeping you from buying a house? And it could be no down payment, credit score, you know, whatever that was. So you can, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's going to quit showing, but I don't necessarily want everyone to have to sit and live through that. Okay. So you could do, you know, what's keeping you from buying a home, low credit score or no down payment. Then you can go back in and start private messages with everyone who answered your poll and help them work through what those issues are. So I really like poll in that scenario. Okay, let's find just, oh, this is my baby niece. Look at this. We went shooting for Memorial. She's like a couple weeks old. We'll put that as the background. All right, another one that we talked about, the slider smiley face guy. What I was just telling you was poll. Quiz is cool for you as well, because you're going to get the information of who answered what in the quiz. And questions are awesome as well. Those are just little things that are going to help up that engagement. They make it super easy for people to answer. You want to keep the question, like on the poll, yes or no, or very simple, because if it gets too in detail, the text gets really small, and a confused mind says no, and people will just skip right over it. So make sure that you're not overwhelming people in your Instagram stories, because the whole point of stories are, right, they're quick, they're just little snippets, and so you don't want people trying to read a whole bunch in your snippets. Okay. So on here, like we talked about, you can use other content. So you can import photos, you can import videos, things like that to use. You want to make sure that you always add a location and add a hashtag, and then use those other sticker options to get more engagement. Okay. So any questions on Instagram stories? And then just for, you know, a check here, if you will post, well, we're here at the end. So if you guys will, in the chat, just to make sure everyone's still engaged and kicking, let's post what is one thing you learned. And you can either send it to me privately, or you can send it as the whole chat. Also, I am going to, let me break out another thing here. If you would like a copy of these slides, if you go to my Facebook page and type in slides, and let me check, let me make sure that that's working. I did not check that beforehand. Because sometimes just having the slides is helpful. And it looks like it has to be all caps. I've looked at the word slides too much. It looks like it's spelt wrong or something. All right, and did we have any questions? You guys can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question or anything that you'd like me to kind of cover. I know this is a ton of information, but I always also want to make sure that no matter what level someone's at with social, that they get something out of this. So whether you're just like thinking about dipping your toe in there or you're ready to take it to the next level, I try to touch on all of those. Okay, let's try this again. Because I don't know if anyone else was able to get the slides, but it did not work for me. Okay, so now if you are on Facebook and you message me on Facebook Messenger, just slides, all caps, or if you go to my website, whitneybingham.com, in the bottom right-hand corner, the little message bubble pops up and you just type in slides in all caps. It's a bot, so it will just deliver you the slides right away as a PDF, so you guys can have those. Again, we do have to do a timeout stamp. So I don't see many questions. I will go ahead and post the link again for you to put your time out. And let me see if there we go. And then Terry, I sent you a private message if you will read that. Oh, yes, look at all these birthday messages. Where some people get some of these, I have no idea. Well, you guys, I want to thank you so much for being here on this call. I know it's hard and it's been super weird for all of us, but thank you for letting me teach you today. And those of you who were here the whole time and followed all those instructions for the board, I will be banking those hours for you. So last call for questions, if anyone has any, or I think that we will be done. And yeah, hopefully we will be meeting again in person very, very soon. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will be in touch.